Okay, next up is a bed, and we're going to be putting this one together. These tend to mostly work about the same way, and the little turn locks used on the other stuff aren't strong enough for this. So these come with this double-ended deal. No way to do this really realistically with a power tool, so I'll give you this special wrench as part of the kit. And what you do, the holes are pre-drilled. So we set these here where the turn lock would normally go, except that we're going to be doing it with a wrench. When you do it, it straightens itself out and ends up like that. So see where some of the little parts are. Yeah, this is pretty much just going to go into a circular opening that goes up against that, and then we tighten those down with a wrench. And the way it's shaped in there, it's really hard to get in there with a socket or a power tool of any type. So these are pretty much hand assembly, but there's just not very many fastenings in them, so this will go pretty quickly. Okay, so here's kind of the trick. After getting all the pegs and the bases in these, I lay the larger one down, which is the headboard, very carefully, because it's a very delicate floor, and you've got a lot of stuff here. Fortunately, Ikea manufactures their boxes with no staples. So we don't have to worry about scratching it with cardboard on there. If you're ever doing assembly in other brands of furniture, you really got to look out for that. Staples in the boxes can really damage your furniture. So with these things in place, I can reach them all right now with the minimum amount of crouching and bending. So kind of like what I showed at the one part, this part gets set up here. Whoops. And then I'll be using that included wrench to tighten those nuts down. And with the rails bolted in, there's a high setting and a low setting. I tend to favor the high setting because that way getting in and out of the bed, you're putting less wear and tear on those edges where you can get wear and tear on that stuff. And so we use a high setting. The center hole on the bracket is not used on this. That bracket's used in a couple other Ikea things, so that hardware goes in one way on this bed, goes in another way on the other bed. So you can kind of see the orientation on these. There's going to be a lot more metal reinforcement here, but we're pretty much done with what would be the carpentry aspect of it. And next we're going to be it's just mainly the metal hardware and metal reinforcements that go on here. Fortunately, I think, and I'll double check, but I believe this is not one of the designs that has me doing a whole bunch of wooden slats up and down this whole thing. I'm hoping it's not, because those are a hassle. Right, and worthy of mention, these little crossbars are a nightmare. And I gotta find the other wooden bars. There's some wooden stuff that goes on here, but these crossbars are an absolute nightmare. They are threaded on the sheet metal, is what it boils down to. They telescope out, kind of like this one telescoped down. It's what keeps this whole thing from wobbling out of square. And you get these little screws that go through the metal and then suck that up to hold that in. So holding it and getting the screw started is major trouble, but we can get it in there. Here it is all put together, metal framework. This one's going to be getting a box spring, so I can put the additional wooden slats in. And I also noticed I lowered it all one notch on the wood, on the framework. So that's going to work with the box spring. The high setting is if you're basically not using a box spring. But that's it, all fully assembled and ready to go.